be entertaining, timing perfect, informative, the whole thing. Said before this game, Key, the biggest game in the history of the Giants-Dodgers rivalry. Now, he's the Dodgers guy. He didn't know this before you know who's going to win. The biggest game in the history of the rivalry. He might have been right.
Lived up to it.
Maybe. He might have been right.
Are you happy this morning?
I think he was right. Not a might have been. I mean, you got two teams that's, was it 107, 109 wins between. I mean, each team had 109 or so on the season, including the playoffs. It's got to be up there with the best of them. And he knows better than we do, 100%, and 60 times over.
For it to turn out that way.
I mean, Mookie Betts was phenomenal. Logan Webb pitched a hell of a game. Max Scherzer coming in at the end to close it out. The controversial check swing.
Ain't no controversy.
It was, come on, man.
Yeah,
come on, man.
By the way, it wasn't controversial because he didn't go around.
Exactly. Thank you, Max. He didn't even come close to it. But still, look, I give all the credit to the Dodgers and Key, Cody Bellinger. Just the year that he's had, considering the way he's came through in the playoffs, man. It was impressive.
It was certainly impressive as I watched everything, including the celebration in the end. So that's what I would say. Very happy guy. Very happy guy.
But it didn't have to be controversial. Like, why is this not reviewable?
Thank you.
Like, why do we review whether or not the guy stepped on second base in the middle of the third inning, but we can't challenge or review a check swing in the ninth inning when the guy, Wilmer Flores, clearly didn't go around? Like, that's my biggest issue with this. Why is this not reviewable? Why do we still do this song and dance in sports where some things are reviewable, but sometimes the most important play of the game is not?
Well, why don't you get on the rules committee then? Yeah. That'll fix everything. Just get on the rules committee.
Major League Baseball, I'm available for hire for your rules committee.
Because clearly, Major League Baseball.
Maybe I should go be an umpire.
They need you, Evan.
They feel they got it right, and I accept it.
If I made as many mistakes here as on a baseball field as an umpire, I'd be the best umpire in the game. I make a lot of mistakes here, but I'd still be the best umpire.
Settle down, Evan. There's Don Larson pitched a perfect game in the World Series in the 1950s, the Yankees pitcher. And the last pitch of the game was clearly not a strike, but it was close enough. Dude should have swung. Ref punched him out, punched him out, right? So to complete the perfect game.
But it was
It was close enough. I agree he didn't go around. I agree about replay. Why can't you use replay there? Well, look, Key.
No,
Jay,
it wasn't. He didn't go around as soon as it happened. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, the first base ump just sat there and was like, he said it with conviction.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you're saying it with conviction?
How's he supposed to say it? Like, maybe?
But in the end, we take it and about it. And our manager,
end of game results.
And our skipper did an amazing job with the old switcheroo, switching out the pitchers at the beginning.
Bullpen was impressive.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Going with an opener is a big thing, and that's dictated usually by the front office, right? You have your Andrew Friedman, whoever going, all right, we're going with an opener, meaning.
But this wasn't dictated by Andrew Friedman. This was dictated by the skipper. He made this decision
by Dave Roberts.
Yes, that is correct.
So
early too, not right before the game, early.
When I was a kid, if you a check swing, and am I remembering this wrong, or it seemed to me that you had to break your wrists for them to call it a swing, right? And then I don't know how long ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it started to be if the barrel of the bat crossed the front of the plate, then they called it a strike, even if you held your wrists. And now, like last night, it's like if the barrel of the bat meets the back of the plate, they're going to call it a strike. Am I crazy? Or Key, when you were a kid, didn't it seem like you had to break your wrists for the ump to call it a strike? Like if you held your wrists without breaking them, they usually gave you the check swing.
Well, the bat needs to go in front of the body. That's basically what happens. If the bat goes in front of the body, that's when you're going to get the call. Otherwise, I mean, look, different angles show different things in people's eyes depending on where their viewpoint is. And so last night, I mean, who's to say that he didn't see something different, right? I mean, that's at the end. And then when you talk about last night, just in general as a whole, as I sat and watched the Dodgers, I kind of had my eye on the Eagles as well. Eagles in the Bucks game, because that was another one. So my eyes was in two different places. That was such a phenomenal football game last night. I had to pay attention to that over here, pay attention to the Dodgers over there. So I'm happy on both sides. I win the Bucks game and I win the Dodger game.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests join on the Goodyear Hotline. Time for some Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. As you heard Keyshawn Johnson just tell you, there was also an NFL game last night, and the Bucks are now 5-1 after a road win over the Eagles. Tom Brady threw for 2 touchdowns, and here he is after the game.
A good win. You know, it's tough to win on the road, and obviously we didn't play our best, so we got to get back to work. We got a good little break here, use it, and then get back to work, see if we can get better.
That's Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. So here's the question. Bucks are 5-1. Do you feel they're a real 5-1 team, Key?
Absolutely. They're 5-1. they are 5-1, got a bunch of injuries. Those guys will be coming back at some point in time as they trickle in. Philadelphia is a tough place to play. I think you look at Philadelphia and the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, and you just automatically assume they're not a very good football team. They're a good football team. They're a young football team. They're a young football team starting with their head coach. And again, Philadelphia is a tough place to play. And so the Eagles took them all the way down to the wire. Okay, so here's what I would say. You didn't say that last week. You didn't ask me that question last week. Or the Bucks a legit 4-1 team when they just shellacked Miami that had a pretty good defense. You know, and so now they play the Eagles and are they legit? Are they real? Yeah, they absolutely are.
Jay, I agree with that. Like, and here's my take from that. When they play a bad team, they beat the brakes off that team. Mm-hmm. Then they also are capable of beating good teams. So what? You lose to the Rams. A lot of teams going to lose to the Rams this year.
All right, so you beat the Cowboys, lose to the Rams. You win the game against the Patriots, the game after the Rams, a homecoming for Tom Brady. Look, does this defense have questions in the secondary? Richard Sherman going out again last night? Of course. But up front, they apply pressure. I think the Bucs are going to be fine. When they get healthy, they'll be even better. My issue, though, is with Nick Sirianni. Like, as a rookie head coach, I sat there in the first half last night, and I said, what the hell are you doing? You are dropping back and throwing the ball a ton with Jalen Hurts. And we've talked about this multiple times on this show. Miles Sanders, in the first half, had 1 carry and 1 target.
Yeah, why do they
I don't understand it. I don't
like,
get it. It doesn't make sense, Max.
He's their best player on offense. They don't use him.
And I just want to see Nick Sirianni have some growth as a head coach, because in the second half, when he got the ball, the offense was a lot more fluid, Key. Very similar to the way it looked versus the Panthers, very similar to the way it looked versus the Falcons. And when they become a one-dimensional team, it seems like, man, everybody knows what the hell you're going to do offensively when you just drop back and you're having Jalen Hurts just trying to make something out of nothing.
Well, because Jalen Hurts is their best player. He's their best player. And on top of that, the interception, for instance, that wasn't on Jalen Hurts. That's on the receiver. The receiver misjudged the football and jumped when he should have just ran underneath the football. So that wasn't on Jalen Hurts at all. And people don't really understand that sometimes. Like, if the receiver just keeps running, he either catches it or not catch it, but he allowed Dean to chase him down and run in front of him. That's just a lack of youth and continuity together. And when they go back and look at the film this morning, they will point that out to them if they're any good at coaching.
And on top of that, Max, don't get me started on these damn taunting calls. I cannot stand it. It happened in the fourth quarter with about 5 minutes left to go. First down, Leonard Fournette. There's a taunting call on the Eagles, 15-yard penalty. Like, I can't stand these things.
Yeah, that's Sirianni. A couple weeks ago, as I mentioned it
Get
yesterday.
off my line.
Yes, I'm that old man, Key.
A couple weeks ago, 0 plays with motion at the snap for the Eagles. It was a couple games ago. And you bring up Miles Sanders, and Key talks about Jalen Hurts, but like, is Sirianni putting Jalen Hurts in the best position to succeed at this point in the season is the question. We are asking at Key, J, and Max on Twitter, which NFL team needs a win the most in Week 6? Be a part of KJM Nation on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed or call in line 888-SAY-ESPN 729-3776. ESPN Nation presented by Dr. Pepper. College football is back. So are the fans. Return to glory with Fansville by Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. All right, so the Bucs are 5-1 after last night, but there's still only one unbeaten team left, and they have a huge road test this weekend. So why is everybody talking about their opponent? That's